You mentioned about the Lord. Can you talk to us about how debate does glorify the Lord and point somebody towards truth, beauty, or goodness?
Sure. So, in terms of pointing students towards truth, right, as I just mentioned earlier, a big part of debate is practicing truthfulness and through integrity, and and then how they use their evidence, where they find it. Um, the goodness, I believe, is found in how debaters treat each other. Kind of going back to what we were saying, not just in cross examination, but throughout the round when they're in the room and outside of the room. Like, are they being respectful to each other? Like one of my favorite things to watch or hear about, and it happens pretty often, is that you have a really experienced team. They
Hmm.
might be even, seniors or have been competing for a number of years, right? That go against a brand new team. And a novice team. And it's so beautiful to watch these experienced teams like really almost help them as
Mm.
they compete against each other. And, you know, I can remember a specific time I heard about an experienced team that literally uh, well, let me back up a little bit. So when you write an affirmative case, most of the time you also want to write a negative brief against your case because it helps you with your case. And then a lot of times other teams might be running a similar case to yours, right? So it's when you're on the negative, it's important to have a negative brief. And so, as I was going to say, is that, there have been times when like an affirmative team was really, really experienced and this novice team was not. And maybe they didn't even have a brief. And the affirmative team will just give them their negative brief and
Oh,
say, I mean, like, here, you take some time, they only get a few minutes in the round to prepare, but they help them, right? Because they remember being in their shoes for one
yes.
thing. And then number two, like it's that good sportsmanship, and it makes the rounds better, and it makes both teams a little bit better too.
Yeah.
Um and so yeah, that's and you'll see teams or students praying with each other before the rounds. um and they're teenagers, and so there's drama like
Yeah.
any other teams, but uh you see them coming around each other and supporting each other, and
Yeah.
so I think that that's where you see a lot of goodness is yes, in the round, but also outside of the rounds too.
You know what was interesting about when you said they support each other? Our first experience, I took Micah, who was 13 at the time, and Cade, 10 years old at the time, my two older sons, to our first tournament just to watch. We're not competing or anything, but just so they could see. And I went to, it must have been it was like a courthouse. What is that type of debate? Is that Lincoln
The
Douglas?
parliamentary.
Parliamentary.
Oh,
So we saw
yeah,
parliamentary. And so all the teenagers and some parents are sitting in a room. I think there must have been 60 people watching that day.
probably.
And yeah. And so the debaters were up in the front doing their thing. And then every once in a while they would say something, and then the entire room would be thumping. Like like, I like that, I like that. And it was almost the same camaraderie that I used to feel in band when the whole band would be playing together.
Hmm.
You feel like, wow, the whole room is for me, and you have this
Yeah,
kind of unity that I don't think that it's common for anyway. I don't think it's
yeah,
common. And then afterwards it ended, and all the kids up front were rushed by their friends. And I
yes,
thought, what
yeah,
a good feeling, for
yeah,
them. That's
yes,
so
yeah.
good.
That's one of the fun parts about parliamentary is that there is some judge and audience participation allowed. You don't get to do that in team policy, but you do get to see it in parley, and it makes it just super fun.
It was
And it
exciting.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about the Lord and truth, beauty, and goodness.